All right, we're live. Hopefully,
GM, how's it going, everybody?
GM. Hopefully, we get some better internet connections. Don't have to cut out here. Yeah, let's get some people rolling in here, and then fire up the live chat. Hopefully, some people start interacting with us. Let us know some topics that you want to discuss. Go through all the regular intros here. As we're going to talk about a lot of crypto price related stuff, macro stuff, AI. None of this is financial advice. None of this is personal advice. None of this is advice at all. Just our personal opinions about stuff. So yeah, we're going to chat about a lot of stuff, and maybe we don't know what we're talking about. Maybe we do. I don't know, but we're going to chat about a lot of stuff. If anyone has anything that they want to bring up, just get into the live chat there, expand the window. If you're on YouTube or on X, you can get into the live chat. We'll see your comments. We'll post top comments, and we'll discuss things that you guys want to discuss also. Got a little bit of an agenda, but yeah, got a few people in here now. How's things going on your end, Chris?
Hey man, life is pretty good. Getting through January. Absolute worst month of the entire year. We're supposed to get like a storm this weekend, so
Oh no.
everybody's in fear. But yeah, man, I just hate January, to be honest. But besides
I used
that,
to
everything is good.
When I was in the northern hemisphere, I used to feel the same way. Now that I'm in the southern hemisphere, it's summertime here and I'm loving it. So,
Yeah. Dude, that's definitely my goal, bro, is to get like you, have like one house in the southern hemisphere, sit there while it's winter in the north, and then just alternate.
alternate.
Just get
Pure
that vitamin
summertime all
D
the time.
all year, yeah. And then
Just
go
chasing that
skiing
sun.
whenever. Yeah.
Exactly. Anyways, let's get into it here. So some of this we talked about last week, but I got a little cutty there, so I'm gonna get back into it. So the big thing that's happening in crypto right now is this crypto market structure bill that's trying to pass. This is kind of what's hanging up all the sentiment in the markets, in my opinion. As Eric Trump was saying on Fox News here just yesterday, like the banks are doing everything they can to try to block this crypto legislation. I don't know if they're necessarily trying to block it. I think his wording's a little off there, but like they're definitely trying to put their fingers in everything and make sure that. Well, let me show you here. Like Brian Armstrong, I think he summarized it very well on what the banks are trying to do here. But like the main thing is that they want to make sure that they maintain their monopoly as far as like interest goes. Like the whole banks, for anyone that doesn't know, the whole bank business model is basically they take in your funds, you deposit your money into the bank, and they take your money and use it to generate interest and generate profits. And they give you a tiny, tiny fraction back as a reward for thank you for depositing your money at our bank so we can make money off your money. And I think the average like savings account makes like 10 or 15 basis points, which is like nothing. Like basically, you're not you're not even close to beating inflation. So they want to maintain that monopoly and be able to continue to do that for eternity. And stable coins are putting up a big competition to this and passing along like higher rewards to consumers. And the banks are trying to stop this from happening, which is like absolutely ridiculous that any representatives who are supposed to be in government would allow this to be blocked when this is like clearly pro-consumer and very good for the end user. And somehow the banks still have so much influence over their government that they're very close to like blocking this from happening. So yeah, I don't know. Pretty crazy that this is even possible when the government is supposed to represent the people, but it's the world we live in.
I mean, yeah, that's like the ideal values, but it's hard, right? Anybody can interpret that in whatever way they want. So, and everybody's the U.S. is really kind of like an oligarchy. Like you know, be a business owner. People work for your incentive, um, etc. I'm not gonna get I'm not gonna get into a rant, but yeah, man, it's pretty rough. Banks are, you know, they're playing that game. They're using their resources. They're trying to maintain their leverage, but I mean, if enough people really wake up to this issue, I think it'll be clear that they really do want to get out of the grip, the power grip of these banks, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing that they're trying to block is just like DeFi in general, because once again, it kind of ruins their whole business model. It doesn't allow them to extract as much from the middle, and but like yeah, I mean, the encouraging thing here is that like I don't think that they're gonna end up doing it. We have guys like Brian Armstrong and the Coinbase team who are kind of making everyone super accountable. I don't know if you've seen like during the last election there, but they basically like they have this stand with crypto site and they're like calling out all of the all the like senators and all of the government representatives who are like uh, anti-crypto and who have been like protecting the banks and getting a lot of them kind of voted out in the government, which is pretty cool to see. It's a good accountability machine. This is the great thing about the United States is that it still is probably the most free country in the world. So you still like your voting does have power. And yeah, I think that the same thing's going to happen here. I think if a bunch of and representatives know that they know that if they vote against this and they're really like doing something that's very bad for the end consumer, they're going to lose a lot of votes in the next midterm elections here. So yeah, I think that that pressure kind of helps a little bit, and I think because of that pressure, this bill is going to pass still. So yeah, good to see. I mean, Trump just said like yesterday that he hopes to be signing the bill like within some weeks here. So yeah, hopefully it moves forward and everything is kind of figured out, and we are able to pass along the rewards to users and all that sort of stuff. But I think, anyways, crypto is inevitable. DeFi is inevitable. It's going to take over the traditional financial rails. It's just a matter of time.
Agreed, agreed. Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do as the average retail participant besides supporting your local Coinbase and you know, making your voice known. So
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, and then like as far as like macro and stuff goes, and like what's happening with the crypto markets, like Kevin O'Leary, he kind of talked about it, but he said that according to his like insider, like how valuable that is, I don't know, but like he says that trillions of dollars are lined up to, well, I don't think he said directly Bitcoin, but like crypto in general. And it all starts as soon as this like Clarity Act passes. So if he's right, like, it does seem like there is like very little liquidity in the overall markets right now. So he could be right that there is just a bunch of liquidity and money that's sitting on the sidelines right now. And once this clarity of the bill passes, I think a lot of that could flow back into the crypto markets, and we get like the bull market that we've been kind of waiting for. So yeah, I'm still optimistic. I'm hopeful. But what are your thoughts on that?
yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to say, you know. There's a lot of moving pieces right now, and I'm sure at some macro level, like this is the case. I just don't know under what time frame this is gonna play out. So we'll see. We'll see how things go for the crypto markets. I mean, Kevin O'Leary, you know, I love the guy. Somewhat.
He talks a lot. He
He
talks a lot.
does. He does like to talk. You know, he's a very interesting guy. But
It's a
I
little
mean, in
eccentric.
in principle, like he's probably right. There's at this point, like there's enough people that are exposed to crypto. They understand what crypto does. They're using crypto for some purpose. And maybe they just don't think it's the time to enter the markets, you know, or maybe they have a different opportunity elsewhere. They whatever. But over time, I'm sure we're gonna still see this like slow inflow of money into crypto and Bitcoin specifically too. So
Yep, agreed. I thought this was an interesting comment also from the crypto czar in the United States. He's saying that like once this legislation does pass, that banks are going to be going all in on crypto after that. I mean, I think this is inevitable. I think this kind of speaks to what we're already talking about, but like banks basically have no choice. They're going to have to like adopt crypto rails specifically, like get onto uh, blockchains like Ethereum or perish away. They're not going to be able to extract all the fees and all the profits that they used to, and I think eventually they do fade away because you just like you can't like operate a huge bank with huge operating expenses um,
Yeah.
and like be able to compete with the DeFi protocol who has like 10 employees and can do everything for just way cheaper and not extracting in the middle and yeah so
For
I don't
sure.
think banks have much chance, but yeah, I'll let the battle continue.
For sure. I'd say like, I mean, this is right an infrastructure bill because the switch to DeFi services is going to take a long time. I think, the government has to get involved. They have to like just try and work with these um applications to kind of do things like manage money supply. Like, as to some degree, you need banks for certain things like money supply management, and banks buy bonds from the government. So they have a lot of they have a very important role into the economy, but that doesn't mean that all these financial services need necessarily to go through these banks, especially when they're more expensive, more slow, more um, problematic in that sense. So
Yeah, exactly. I think like to your point, like yeah, banks buy bonds and like treasuries and stuff, which helps with those markets. But like, I don't think it needs to be that way. I think like stablecoin issuers are now clearly taking over this role, and even Besant, the Treasury Secretary, has like talked about how stablecoins are the future, and that they really want to use this as like a new way to get people into treasuries and like really pin up the treasury market. Um, and I think that they don't care too much about the banks anymore. This is why they're going so pro crypto because they know like I think you've seen like Tether and like Circle who issues like USDC. Like they're buying so much treasuries now that like I don't think the Treasury Secretary cares too much about the banks. Like he thinks and I think that yeah, like stablecoin issuers can kind of fill that role and be and bring everyone onto DeFi rails. And I think that's going to be the future.
yeah, absolutely, man. And that's a great point. Like the bond market purchases and the money supply management can just go through these stablecoin issuers. And
Hmm.
I'm assuming it's not just going to be Tether and Circle, but yeah, there's no reason why it only has to be through these banks, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like now everyone's getting into the stablecoin game, which like is amazing for us, like at Superseed, because we're also like big into the stablecoin uh, uh, trend, and I think that's going to be very beneficial. I think like the last I checked, like over 300 new stablecoins were issued in 2025. Um, uh, I think like 88 of those were yield bearing stable coins. So yeah, once this law passes, I think that's even gonna like go even wilder. So yeah, I mean it's a great industry to be in. I think like we've talked about before, I really believe that stable coins are like the gateway drug into the rest of DeFi and the rest of crypto rails. And it's like easy for people to understand. So, and we're going to talk a little bit about the macro markets and what's going on in the prices and stuff like that. But like the great thing about like what we're doing with Superseed is like we're building this money market that is specifically for the stablecoin industry, specifically purpose built for stablecoins. And like we don't need a bull market, we don't need a bear market. Like it doesn't matter what market we're in. Stable coins are going to thrive. It's like it's an up only market. There's like trillions and trillions in like in fiat, and all of that is going to move on chain eventually. So like we're in a up only industry, which is amazing. Gets me
Right.
excited.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, there's a lot to look forward to. of course. So don't get leverage liquidated, guys. Don't do it.
Our regular message: do
Weekly
not,
mantra.
yeah, don't fall into the leverage game. Don't lose all your stacks. Yeah, um, I completely agree. On that note, price, a little bit of price talk here. I think this this post was like a very good overall kind of sentiment for the crypto markets right now. Like gold has been printing all-time high after all-time high, and crypto people watching like the gold market just go up and up and up only, and it's a little bit discouraging. Um, but I think that crypto and Bitcoin are like gonna follow this trend. And I think it's just like had a little bit of headwinds, like we talked about, like with the bill trying to pass and all that sort of stuff. I think it's gonna follow, but I mean, there's some other theses around like why gold has been pumping so hard. One of them is that like China's been buying. I think people have like followed the breadcrumbs and seen China's been buying a lot of gold. Um, and then also like there's a lot of like geopolitical tensions going on right now around the world, and that's been causing a lot more gold buying also. Uh, I think because you could see actually from the market reaction yesterday, there's a lot of geopolitical tensions around this whole Greenland thing. The U.S. trying to purchase Greenland, and the EU is trying to stop them from doing that. And Trump was very close to putting more tariffs on the EU in order to like put more leverage on like getting Greenland. And then as soon as he talked about yesterday, you can let me show you here. Yesterday, he basically said that like the EU tariffs aren't going to happen because they've like reached a little bit of a structured deal on Greenland, and then as soon as that happened, like gold started dropping. So you can see that there is that kind of knee jerk reaction about geopolitical tensions in the gold price. So yeah, interesting to see. Anyway, what are your thoughts on all that? The Greenland deal, the U.S. buying Greenland.
This is like a crazy topic. All I know is, man, if we're buying Greenland, I'm moving. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to check out the nature, bro. I've seen some of the pictures, the mountain ranges. It's
It's cold up there though.
irresistible, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's see what happens.
yeah. I don't know, man. This is like there's a lot of games playing during a situation like this. You know, it's not always that we might actually buy like there. I see so many headlines. Oh, you know, Trump just sent like an offer to Greenland to be bought for whatever like price figure. They're tariffing Europe to try and put pressure on. There's also just a level of like power dynamic testing that is like, going on right now that we just haven't seen before, but the U.S. is kind of like getting awoken back to their power a little bit into what they can
Yeah,
do. And maybe, you know, the point is not even to buy Greenland, just to like pressure other people a little bit and kind of test the boundaries of what the US can actually pull off here and do. So
it's definitely a power move. I completely agree with that. GM, by the way, Denizen, welcome to the chat. More people get into the chat. But yeah, no, it could just be a power move. I think that there's a little bit of strategy and 4D chess going on with like China and Russia. Like it kind of seems like China wants to eventually take Taiwan. Russia clearly wants Ukraine, and like the U.S. wants to have like some strategic areas. Also, Greenland seems to be a strategic area, similar to like what happened in World War One, where they bought the U.S. Virgin Islands and used that as like a strategic point also against Germany, I believe. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's a little bit of strategy involved. I don't think they're going to end up like getting all of Greenland. I don't think that's going to happen. But maybe some like pockets of Greenland will become U.S. territory, um, so they can set up bases there. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, like clearly, geopolitical tensions are like one of the major factors in the markets right now. Um, I think there's also like a great deal going on with like Japan. Japan's kind of whole market is blowing up right now. I don't know if you've been following along that right now, but
mm-mm.
like
Oh, I
they've
did
had
see this actually.
yeah,
They
it's wild,
go on,
wild
go
what's
on.
happening there.
Give
Go
us a
ahead.
breakdown, sorry.
No, no, I would love your thoughts on it, but yeah, I can give you well, I'll give you a quick breakdown. So yeah, basically, like the bond market is blowing up in Japan, like their 30, I think this is their 30-year bond yields are like hitting like near 4% now, which is absolutely wild because it's been like strictly at zero for so long, and so many people have accumulated so much like Japanese won debt at these 0% rates. So this is like starting to unwind. There's this famous trade called the carry trade, where you
Hmm.
just like where you borrow a bunch of like Japanese won, you maybe convert it to like US dollars and you buy assets. And if you make any sort of like return or anything like that, you basically have like an interest free loan that you can pay back whenever. And then you get to hold all these assets and you basically get free money. So it's been like a free trade for so long, for like decades, I believe, and it's starting to unwind now. And now people are having to like actually sell these assets that they used to hold to repay back these loans because the interest rates are going up, and it's caused a lot of pressure on the market. So. So yeah, that's been another wild thing that's been happening, and now people are just like really starting to question, like, hey, where are the actual safe havens that are going to last? Like, if fiat starts blowing up, and these like safe trades that used to be safe for so many decades are starting to blow up. Like, where do we go? And I think that's been driving a lot of gold buying. Also, I think that eventually that leads more people to Bitcoin and crypto. Also, but like, yeah, right now people are going with the easier access, which is gold in the capital markets.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. There was the carry trade unwind that happened a few years ago. I think it was the Japanese won and the Australian bonds, I believe. They would borrow in Japan and then they would buy the bonds in Australia. And then there was a huge giga unwind of this trade when the Japanese interest rates started going up. It was no longer possible to borrow at these super, super low rates. So,
And
yeah,
yeah, it's oh, go ahead, finish up there.
it's I mean you make a good point about like these assets or the flow having to go somewhere and that's really very safe flow, so it makes sense that it would flow into something like a gold rather than crypto maybe. But also at the same
Exactly.
time, you know, it's we're kind of like in a stale place, kind of in like a I don't know, kind of in a lull with the crypto markets while Bitcoin is at 92K. Which is kind
Hmm.
of absurd given what has been the state of the markets for the last couple of years. People get tired of this like super high price target immediately if it's not all-time high. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's been like a crazy thing about the sentiment is like the Bitcoin price is like still pretty high. Like I think it's maybe unchanged in 2025, but like up a lot um, since like if you just go back like a few years. But yeah, like so it's not like the Bitcoin price like being too low is like causing horrible sentiment, like the worst sentiment that we have. It's that it should be like 10x higher right now, and this is what, or maybe not 10x, but like it should be some x's higher, and that is what is like frustrating people and getting people to like for turning
right.
people into forced sellers. And yeah, and then because of Bitcoin kind of leads the crypto market, then everything else has poor sentiment also. So yeah, it's been pretty wild to see, but eventually this is going to turn, and when it turns, I think it's going to be like a springboard or like a ball and like a beach ball under the water, like we talked about on a previous super chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure. You can only I mean there's a lot of things, right? It's like I'm thinking of like four things at once, my bad.
I
Um
don't know.
I
Go
was
for it.
gonna say on that point, like people, because you were talking about people kind of like getting bored of the price, even though it's so high.
Yeah. Hmm.
There's also the point about like, everybody's expecting way higher price targets, but that always happens when there's hypomania and there's like a massive inflow of money, that can only exist temporarily. So I don't feel too worried about the state of crypto and Bitcoin. I think it's a very healthy state. I think like um I think like the fact that we had from not even 3.5 years ago, we had Bitcoin go from like 15K to 90K. A stable target price is like absurd. It's way better than any possible other market you could have gone into. You know, if you're an investor, you've been an investor during this time, like you've done incredibly well. So don't fall for this weird like sentiment of ungratefulness and like, oh, it's over for the crypto markets. We fell under 100K. Guys, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the overall crypto sentiment is like most people like don't have that many funds. So people are investing with like small amounts of money, and nobody wants to go into Bitcoin because like it doesn't represent like the largest potential return. Like maybe it's got like another 10x from here, but like nobody's like super excited about like turning $1,000 into $10,000. People want to turn $1,000 into 100 or a million. Um,
Hmm.
so like people are going into like altcoins and different things like that because they want to get like higher potential returns. And I think that because the Bitcoin sentiment has been so bad, we haven't really got an alt season because the big capital flows haven't flowed in yet. So that hasn't flowed down into altcoins yet, and I think that's what's driving a lot of the overall sentiment. But um, and like we've kind of talked about in previous ones, like there's also like thousands and thousands of crypto tokens now, so it's very hard to decide like which ones are going to be winners, which ones are going to be losers. Like you kind of have to be, I think, in the next bull market here, like I think you have to be a little bit more smart about it. I think like DeFi is a very obvious play here. AI is obviously like going to be a big thing. I think those are going to be like two big sectors. And like I love, again, shout out Superseed. I love that we're in the stable coin and DeFi sector because the stable coins are just like going to be up only from here, and like DeFi is going to be a big winner. Also, as everything moves on chain, like the CEO of BlackRock literally just said, I think today at Davos, that like we need to move fast, like onto crypto rails. We need to tokenize everything, and we need to do it on like one public blockchain. And he's talking about Ethereum because they're already publicly like very big on Ethereum. So I think that there's going to be a lot of inflows. It's just kind of hung up because of all these things that we talked about previously. The bill not passing yet, and the macro tensions and all that sort of stuff. But like once that turns, I think DeFi is really going to take off. I'm super excited about the future, and yeah, I'm excited about what we're building with Superseed to take advantage of DeFi and the stablecoin sector.
Absolutely, man. Me and you both. Me and you both.
Yeah, yeah. Um, anyways, I think that's good on the crypto market talk. I had some like I up your alley here. I had some like interesting AI stuff that you probably want to talk about. Maybe you can rant on a little bit. Um, so a few things like I'm sure you've seen like Claude Code is like taking over. The Anthropic CEO is saying that software engineering will be like fully automable. I don't know how to pronounce that. Automatable in 12 months. I tend to agree. Like everything is like getting completely crazy. Like software engineering is becoming like very fast and um, like oh sorry, and another thing here. Sorry, let me just share one more thing. Like some of the things that you can do with Claude Code now are like wild. I'm sure you can rant on this. I'm gonna let you rant, but like one thing that I've seen here is that like there's this new like skill that came out where you can make a remotion agent skill. You can now
Yeah.
like make like fully automated videos. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like, what are your thoughts on like Claude Code and just the advancements of AI in general?
So Claude Code is AGI. Super
Yeah.
intelligence is a fun no. No, but it's like a huge leap. Like, I mean, anybody who's used Claude Code, I think, can attest to the fact that the ability is like absurd. This is a huge step up from coding models that we've had in the last few months and years, because Claude has been basically the go-to model for coding. You know, I was doing some like data analytics coding with it in like March or April or May, sometime in the spring. And you know, it was working. It would take a while, but it would work. And and it was a lot less intelligent. It wasn't through a CLI, but it had some decent capabilities. Now with Claude Code, you can just immediately integrate with all these servers. You can integrate with all these um, MCP servers, so you can connect it to all the major like platforms for billing, for payments, for productivity tools, for social tools, for workplace tools. All this stuff you can just immediately get plugged into and create automations for. So you can really automate everything on your computer. They already set up desktop version as well. So if you want to use the desktop version, you can rather than a CLI. People are constantly creating extra tools to use Claude Code in a better way, in a more simple way, in a more efficient way, all the time. And
Yeah, I
all
keep
these
seeing
things
new
are,
stuff.
yeah, they're just constantly coming out. This remotion thing, I think, is also really interesting. I don't know if it came out yesterday or the day before. I
Yeah,
guess it was
very,
like the
very.
20th.
Mhm.
So this, if you just search up the remotion, if you just search up remotion as a keyword on Twitter and you just look at some of the stuff that people are building,
It's
it
wild. Yeah.
it is insane. This was maybe one of the biggest like weaknesses for coding agents or for AI I guess capabilities like video
Like
creation.
LLMs in general. Yeah.
Yeah, video creation and branding, right? I mean, everybody sees the video slop that exists online from AI models. There's some things that are interesting, but especially stuff like branded videos with text effects, with custom um, animations, custom like branding elements, music, timing being like good, things kind of having like a flow that makes sense and engaging like flow. You know what I mean? When I watch a video and it's just not very engaging, you can immediately tell um, it's not really well produced with these models. But with this, I mean, you can even try right now, like, and see what shows up. I've seen a few that are made very, very quickly, like only a few prompts, and it's just
Yeah, I seen one guy, like, he said, like, he
tier.
basically one-shotted this animated video, and it was, like, really good, and, like, wow, like, bye-bye video, like, designers, I guess, like, yeah, it's taken over, and it's taken over fast, like, I this tweet, like, I seen just today, you'll find this super interesting, like, look at in 2.67 years, the amount of progress that has been made with video, like,
Yeah, it's
thi
absurd.
this was just March 2023 compared to 2026, like it's absolutely wild. So like if that's just 2.5 years, like imagine 2.5 years from now where we're gonna be. Yeah, it's absolutely wild.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a ML runway model that came out recently as well, which they also do video models, their competitor, and that one is like the best video model on the market now, apparently. This is probably the best custom branding video model that you can get for Motion. I want to play around with it because I haven't gotten a chance to yet, but
Mhm,
all of this stuff just comes out faster and faster. I would say even just from like the spring of last year up to
mhm.
now, the rate of acceleration for amazing tools has gone up like significantly, man. So,
Yeah,
so, so
it's
fast.
wild.
So,
Yeah, I know
yeah,
we've been like implementing AI in like all of our workflows, and it's increased our productivity like across the board, like in like everyone in Superseed. So yeah, it's wild to see. It's wild like what the future is going to bring, and which leads me to this subject, which I wanted to pick your brain on. Um, I don't know if you've seen, but Anthropic released this constitution for Claude, and like basically they said that Claude is having emotions, and it's not something that they like programmed or designed. It's like an emergent thing, and they can't reduce it. And so, yeah, basically like they're introducing this constitution as like a way to kind of I guess prepare for AGI. So it's wild how that we could be this close to AGI already.
yeah. There's a lot of weird phenomenons like this. It's hard to say if it's AGI or not, right? Because that's been a thing for a while where people talk about LLMs or whatever model type architecture they're using, like expressing things. that might seem like opinions or feelings or desires or things like that. It's hard to tell if it is a genuine feeling or if it's just like a pattern match type of weird phenomenon that happens with these models. There's a whole field of science dedicated to just researching the weird, freaky stuff that these models are doing, just and trying to understand like what even There's a lot of stuff that I don't even think we understand about why these models function the way they do,
Mhm.
and people are trying to kind of figure that out. But at least it's producing a useful result. So it might take a while until we understand even if there is AGI, like when there is AGI, and like what that will actually even look like. Um,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, a lot of people are like, I mean, we're going like a little bit, I don't know, utopian, dystopian. I'm not sure which path we're gonna go, but like going pretty deep here. Like, yeah, like what happens in some years when like AGI exists and robotics like really take over, and there's humanoid robots everywhere. They can do the jobs of like basically everyone for cheaper and better. Yeah, where does this all lead? Like, basically, I guess my thoughts is that like it further emphasizes the point that fiat is going to die, because there's going to have to be like some sort of universal basic income for everybody, which is going to absolutely destroy fiat currencies. It's just rack up, pile up debt, and I yeah, I think it all just leads the same way. Like Bitcoin, crypto, gold, that sort of stuff, like are going to be the only things that are truly scarce, and everything's going to live on DeFi rails because AI agents. It's the only way you can scale them. So, anyways, I think we're in the right industry. But yeah, it's going to be a crazy future.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. It is. This year is going to be ridiculous, I think. Out of all the years we've had, this one is going to be just super, super absurd.
You think so?
And
Yeah.
I think this is the year where things start to like meaningfully change in the economy, in the you know, in startups and crypto, and because you see the rate of acceleration, right? Like you see all these things getting released. You see that jobs are already being kind of replaced, and now we're getting to the point where people are having to kind of have like internal talks about, okay, how do we manage teams, how do we manage like work, how do we manage our funds so we get to
Hmm.
our goal more efficiently. And I don't know if it's going to be a AGI is here and everybody's out of work immediately type of situation. I highly doubt it, but we're
Hmm.
slowly gonna start having to feel that, and then we're slowly gonna have to see what the social consequences look like for these tools
Yeah,
existing. So
I agree. And you have like Elon talking about like he wants to make Tesla and like everything that they're building so that people can have a universal high income. I think like I think it's pretty much accepted at this point that like the universal basic income, universal high income, whatever it ends up being, like there is going to have to be a way for governments or maybe through the private sector, that people can like get some sort of um, like funding at least to cover their basic necessities, because yeah, like AI definitely and robotics are gonna it's inevitable that they take over. I tend to agree that it's not gonna happen like super fast, maybe 5 to 10 years, who knows? But still, it's coming and it's something to prepare for.
absolutely, man. Gonna be crazy, crazy year ahead.
One last crazy thing, completely off topic and on a different topic. I just seen this on Twitter and wanted to share it with you and get your thoughts. I thought it was pretty cool. Maybe it's just me. Um, so I've heard about this, but I've never seen it before. Have you heard of the North Sentinel Island?
Yes,
It's like
yes.
absolutely wild. This is like a video, like an up close video of someone flying over this North Sentinel Island. Apparently, this is like a full island full of people, like like stuck in, I don't know, the 1200s. They have no idea that like the rest of the world exists. They're still using like arrows and like hunting for their food, and people have like tried to go onto this island before, and like everyone's been like captured, killed. Um, and it's just like absolutely crazy. And apparently, the Indian government like prohibits people from going within like 5 miles of this island. They're just like trying to leave this section of the world like as it is and in peace. But like it's absolutely wild that they don't know that the rest of the world exists, and they're just like still living in whatever the 1200s or where, whatever it was. Even before then, like basically like hunters gatherers, I guess.
Bro, yeah, I mean, this island is off the coast of India. I believe it's legally protected land for some
Yeah,
random reason. I don't know if it's like a religious reason or what. But yeah, there's a huge colony of people on here, and they have no exposure to the outside world at all. It's
absolutely
just
wild.
and yeah, they I think they've been visited multiple times. They've had expedition people go expedition to try and give them food and tell them about the other like part of the world. They got killed. They got
Yeah,
killed by the natives, and yeah, now it's been outlawed from all people
from
to
people
go
going
there.
there.
So yeah, you know,
I,
good times.
anyways, I didn't want to end things off on like a negative note. I just thought it was like super fascinating.
It is pretty cool.
Um, pretty fascinating that like there's just the world is crazy, and we're going into this AI new paradigm, and that there's still people living on the same planet as us that are still in hunter gatherer stage and have no idea what's going on. So
Yeah,
just
the stark contrast
wild,
is
wild world.
absurd.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you have to think about it, like, there are people today that have no like, their entire life is like bugs in nature and, like, getting away from the lion and stuff. They have no exposure to the internet or, like, Western world or, you know, social media. And, meanwhile, we're here like, "Ah, we got our new AI tool to make some more cool stuff."
yeah. Now we're making
So,
animated videos through AI.
yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. The stark contradiction. But yeah, anyways, that's all I had. Anything else on your end?
We can't give too much every week, you know, then they'll stop coming, so I think
All
we've
right.
covered enough for this week.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up here. But yeah, like just to give everyone like some quick super seed updates, things are moving along very smoothly. Make sure you go on our X and check out our video series that we have out as we build the supermarket. We're kind of taking like a fun take on that about the supermarket, building in real life, but it's actually happening on chain. But anyways, go check that out. It's pretty funny. We got part two of that video series coming out tomorrow. We've also got a special guest coming on Super Chats next week, one of our ecosystem partners who just launched. He's going to join us on here so we can kind of shoot the shit, talk a little bit, talk about what he's building and maybe some other stuff in the Super Seed ecosystem next week. And yeah, I think we're going to try to do that more as we get closer to the supermarket launch here. We're going to bring on more ecosystem partners. Maybe we'll announce future partnerships and bring on some of those people. So yeah, it's going to be fun times ahead. We're getting close to the supermarket launch. We're, I think, basically just like waiting on audits at this point, and we're getting very close. So stay tuned and keep tuning in every week as we talk about all this stuff and give you updates and chat with you in the live chat if anyone's interested. Thanks for joining.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody.
Nice talking
Best
to you again,
wishes.
Chris. See you
Of
on the
course.
interwebs.
Alrighty.
See everybody.
Peace out.
Bye. Later.